I am working in so we'd like to start our session. You know that we have a very interesting session today. Basically, leaders is working in southwest coastal Bangladesh. You know that the southwest coastal Bangladesh is the one of the climate vulnerable area of the country, and a lot of people are living here with a lot of problems. Already, a lot of people are starting. A lot of people migrating from this area for better livelihood. In this context, leaders and some other NGOs are working here to make a peaceful condition for all of the people who are living here, so that they do not need to migrate from this from the coastal area. Leaders is one of the NGO who are working last 2 decades on the climate change issues in southwest coastal Bangladesh. So we would like to share our working experience, and simultaneously we would like to get some valuable insights from some other researchers, some other development practitioners, and we would like to hear from the community people who are living here, how they are feeling. So welcome everybody to our session. I'd like to introduce our great panelists and speakers who will give their valuable insights here. Kaushik Roy, he is the keynote speaker who will give a very short insight about the working strategy of what we are implementing here. Before him, we'll have opportunity to see a video documentary on our activities, what we are doing here. And then we'll go to here two participants who are taking part in our development project in the coastal area. One is Shumita Rani Mondol. He is living in Munchiganj in Shamnagar Upazila. And another is the community leader, Ranjan Raptan, who is leading a community approach in coastal area. Then we'll get some valuable insights from Mahmoud Akhtar. Mahmoud Akhtar is a senior research associate working in Shazida Foundation. He's working in development field last 10 years. She's deeply committed to climate change, adaptation, resilience, nature-based solution, sustainable livelihood, migration, capacity building, disaster management, a lot of things. And she has good experience working in Indian Sundarban area and also the Bangladesh Sundarban area. She's leading some important research implementing in this area. And then we will get some valuable insight from Ahsanul Wahid. He has 15 years of working experience in development field, and he is very much engaged with the climate change, biodiversity conservation, food security, natural resource management, and he has substantial acquaintances with the right-based approaches. He is working with the National NGO Manusha Foundation, and he is working in different area in Bangladesh, like in the Haur area, in the Chor area, in the coastal area, in the drought-prone area. So we'll have something good experience to hear from them. And then we will have a question and session answer. If you have any question, please note it down. And after our speaker space, then you will ask our question. We'll try our best to answer your questions. And then we'll bring forward some key messages for next COP29. And after that, we'll have a closing remarks, then we'll finish. So we are welcoming everybody to our sessions. So I'd like to launch the video first, then we'll go for speakers space. So I'm requesting the people to launch our video. So, do anybody from ICCCAD help us to launch the video, or I can share my screen from my end.
Please try to share from your end. Unless if it's not happened, then we can share
Okay.
because it needs some time to download the videos and everything.
Okay, no problem. I am sharing. My screen is audible. My screen is you can watch my
Visible,
screen.
yeah, I can see your screen, but let's try. Yeah, I think it's audible too. Yeah, perfect. Sorry to interrupt, Mohan. First, we have getting some sound from the video, but currently there is no sound at all.
Now, sound is okay.
No, let us try, Mohan.
Once upon a time, Bangladesh was an unparalleled terrain of natural beauty. But the negative impact of global climate change in the last few decades has turned the country into one of the most vulnerable areas. The people of the coastal areas are living with high risk. Shyamnagar Upazila of Satkira and Koira Upazila of Khulna district are situated in the southwestern coastal area. Near about 800,000 people live in these two upazilas that are closely adjacent to the Sundarbans. Most of them are fishermen, farmers, and resource collectors of Sundarbans. During the last few decades, their life has become miserable due to intrusion of saline water and frequent natural disaster. Severe crisis of pure drinking water is created due to increase of salinization of freshwater pond and groundwater. Farmers are being forced to depend on rain-fed cultivation due to increase of salinity in soil and water, but the production is decreased due to irregular rainfall, which has been created a severe food crisis. Poor people, especially women of river-bounded island and coastal remote area, are deprived of getting health services due to fragile communication system. In the adverse situation, many unplanned commercial shrimp cultivations have been developed, which is resulting in increase of salinity. Besides, people who are involved in agricultural work became dependent on Sundarbans due to unemployment. As a result, many people are being killed by the tiger attack and the number of tiger widow increasing. People have to go to cities or abroad for searching livelihoods, though they are not responsible for climate change. Woman-headed families are gradually increasing due to the migration of male people from this area.
প্রতি বছর এইরকম হচ্ছে দুর্যোগ যখন সিগন্যাল দেয় 10 নম্বর 8 নম্বর তখন এখান থেকে আমাদের কিছু জায়গায় যেতে হয় জিনিসপত্র নিয়ে যেতে পারে না এখানে দিয়ে যেতে হয় এইরকম
লবণাক্ত পানি চোখ মুখ জলে গায়ে আর চৈত ফাল্গুন মাস হলে গায়ে ফুটে উঠবে সব
In this situation, Leaders is implementing the project titled Strengthening Livelihood Security of Climate Change Vulnerable People, supported by Bread for the World in Shyamnagar of Satkira district and Koira Upazila of Khulna district, with a view to increase people's adaptation capacity to cope with the adverse effect of climate change, enhance adaptive crop cultivation, reduce climate migration, creating access to pure drinking water, economic empowerment of women, ensure health services in the remote island area, and formulates sustainable adaptive development plan of local government.
আমরা যে সকল জায়গায় কাজ করি এটা দুর্যোগ প্রবণ এলাকা এবং আইলার সময় এই এলাকা ব্যাপক ক্ষয়ক্ষতি হয়েছিল যেখানে যোগাযোগ ব্যবস্থা এখনো পূর্ণাঙ্গভাবে পুনরুদ্ধার করা যায়নি লিডার্স এই এলাকার একটি স্থানীয় প্রতিষ্ঠান এই এলাকার যাবতীয় সমস্যাগুলো জাতীয় এবং আন্তর্জাতিকভাবে তুলে ধরাই আমাদের কাজ সাথে সাথে এই এলাকা পরীক্ষামূলক কিছু কাজ করে দেখা যাতে সরকারকে বলা যায় যে এইরকম কিছু কাজ করলে এই এলাকা মানুষের দুঃখ দুর্দশা বা জলবায়ু ঝুঁকি কমানো সম্ভব
Only organizational initiative can ensure sustainable development to combat with climate change risks. Leaders has been implementing its programs to fight with climatic disaster through formation of 45 social organizations from different strata of grassroots of the society.
আমাদের গ্রামের নাম পূর্ব জেলেখালী ক্লাইমেট রেজিলিয়েন্ট ভিলেজ আমাদের এই গ্রামের মানুষের সমন্বয় করে নিয়ে আমরা ক্লাইমেট রেজিলিয়েন্ট একটা কমিটি গঠন করেছি সবাইকে নিয়ে আমরা একটা আপদ মানচিত্র তৈরি করেছি আমাদের যে সমস্ত প্রাকৃতিক বিপর্যয়গুলো আসতেছে জলবায়ু পরিবর্তনের কারণে সেই সব ঝুঁকি অনুযায়ী মানুষকে সেই বিষয়ের উপরে পরামর্শ এবং ধারণা দিয়ে সেইভাবে আমরা প্রস্তুতি নিয়ে নিছি
Local population has not enough knowledge and awareness to cope with the natural adverse situation. So, initiative has been taken to increase awareness of the local people.
আমার মতন তো আরো অনেক মহিলা এরকম দুঃখ আছে তারপরে যখন আমরা একতা হয়েছি কিন্তু আস্তে আস্তে আমাকে অভয় ওরা কিছু করেছে
Cultivation of rice and vegetables are not being possible like before due to increase of salinity. To introduce a resilient agriculture practice, leaders provided training to beneficiaries and a total of 32,155 kg salt and drought-tolerant rice seed innovated by Bree and Bina has been distributed among beneficiaries.
আমাদের এখানে তো আগে একটা ফসল হতো মোটে লিডার্সের সহযোগিতার কারণে আমরা দুটো ফসল ফলাতে পারছি আমাদের আগের চেয়ে আরো উন্নতি হচ্ছে আমরা সুস্থভাবে দিন কাটাতে পারতেছি
To produce vegetables from the year, 13,743 kg salt-tolerant vegetable seeds of different varieties have been provided. In case of vegetables production, leaders promoted environment-friendly organic fertilizer and 580 pits have been developed. Leaders established 40 seed houses to solve the seed crisis in agriculture. Alongside, Leaders has already distributed 13,440 salt-tolerant fruit plant to ensure food and nutrition security. 5 deep tube wells have been installed. 68 small ponds and 2 canals were excavated to turn one cropped area into multi-cropped by solving irrigation problems in drought season, through which near about 90 acres of land already been turned into true cropped land.
নলকূপ স্থাপন করার পরের থেকে আমাদের এখানে দু ফসল হচ্ছে আগামী সনে আশা করি আগামী সনের থেকে দু ফসল আরো ভালো হবে
Alongside training, financial support has been providing for various income generation activities according to the needs of women. As a result, The woman-headed families, along with tiger widows, see the dream of living in these disaster-affected areas.
লিডারশিপতে কাঁকড়া পরিশোধন পাইলাম, এখন এই কাঁকড়া চাষ করতেছে, এটা আমার খুব লাভ হবে।
Drinking water crisis is long-term problem in the southwest areas due to salinity of groundwater and damage of pond by frequent disasters. Especially women are suffering from this problem as they have the responsibility of collecting drinking water for the family. To ensure the supply of pure drinking water, 11 ponds have been excavated, 11 new pond sand filters (PSF) have been installed, 24 inactive PSF have been renovated, and 4,200 biosand filters have been installed.
আগে পুকুরের জল পান করে আমাদের সবার ডায়রিয়া হতো, এখন এই পিএসএফ ফিল্টার পানি পান করে আমরা সুস্থ মতন জীবন কাটাচ্ছি। এখানে 172 পরিবার আছে, সবাই এই পানি খায়।
Moreover, 179 rainwater harvesting systems installed among woman-headed families. Leaders distributed health cards to the beneficiaries of the project to ensure health service and reduce malnutrition. Under the project, Leaders has provided health services and increased health awareness among 3,566 families through 15 medical camps using river ambulance.
স্বাস্থ্য কেন্দ্রটা হওয়াতে আমাদের অনেক উপকার হয়েছে। এখানে ঔষধটাই ভালো, এই কার্ডটা দেখালে 100 টাকার ঔষধ 20 টাকায় দেয়, এখানে ডাক্তারও ভালো।
Union Parishad is the grassroots organization of the local government who takes various development plans in every year. But most of the development activities are not sustaining because the plans are not taken by considering climate change and disaster risks. To ensure sustainable development, Leaders has initiated pilot programs with 2 unions to formulate and implement local adaptation plan and action, LAPA.
জলবায়ু সহনশীল একটা ইউনিয়ন গঠন করবার স্বার্থে প্রত্যেক মানুষের অংশগ্রহণে আমরা অট পরিকল্পনা সভা করলাম। সেখান থেকে একটা পরিকল্পনা নেওয়ার পর আমরা একটা পুস্তিকা ঠিক এরকম একটা জায়গাতে চলে আসলাম। যে ওয়ার্ডে যাই না কেন আমাদের কিন্তু একটা মানচিত্র সহ আমাদের ওই ওয়ার্ডের সমস্যাটা কিন্তু আমরা এখানে তুলে নিই। সোশ্যাল সেফটি নেট যে প্রোগ্রাম সরকারের আছে বা বিভিন্নভাবে আমাদের যে বরাদ্দগুলো থাকে সেই বরাদ্দের মধ্যে থেকে মোটামুটি ভাবে আমরা সলভ করার চেষ্টা করতে পারবো।
In addition, Leaders has been working to enhance capacity building of the media personnel to focus the risks and crises of the coastal people in the national and international level. Despite having huge limitations in cooperation with local people, government and donor organizations, Leaders has been implementing some programs to enhance adaptation capacity of the peoples of Shamnagar and Koira Upazila.
এখানে লিডার্স যে কাজগুলো করে সেগুলো প্রশংসিত। আপনারা নিরাপদ পানি প্রাপ্তির ব্যাপারে একটা মুখ্য ভূমিকা রাখে। যেহেতু লবণাক্ততা মাটির নিচে দিয়েও বেরিয়ে গিয়েছে, আবার উপর দিয়ে লবণাক্ত বেরিয়ে গেছে, সেক্ষেত্রে জমির মাঝখানে পুকুর খনন করে সেই পুকুর পানি দিয়ে অল্প পরিসরে কিছু চাষবাস করা। লিডার্স এই কার্যক্রমটা যাতে আরো এনহ্যান্স করা যায় এ ব্যাপারে আমার একটা সুপারিশ। তারা ইউনিয়ন পরিষদের তৃণমূল পর্যায়ে জনপ্রতিনিধিদের অ্যাডাপ্টেশন ক্ষমতা বৃদ্ধির ব্যাপারে যে কাজগুলো করে সেগুলো প্রশংসিত।
আমার মনে হয় যে জাতীয় পর্যায়ে নীতি নির্ধারকদের দৃষ্টি আকর্ষণ করা দরকার বাংলাদেশের এই ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ এলাকাটাকে আরো বেশি সমৃদ্ধ করার জন্য। আর এখানকার কাজ করতে গিয়ে তৃণমূল পর্যায়ে একটি বড় সমস্যা হলো মাইগ্রেশন। যে সকল পরিবারকে আমরা সহায়তা দিচ্ছি 1 মাস পরে গিয়ে আমরা দেখছি সেই পরিবার আর নাই। আর একটু বড় চ্যালেঞ্জ হলো এই এলাকার পানি ব্যবস্থাপনা পুনরুদ্ধার করা। এই এলাকার যাবতীয় খাল এগুলো ইজারা দেওয়া হয়ে গেছে এবং তারা সেগুলো দখল করে চিংড়ি চাষ বা অন্যভাবে ব্যবহার করছে। এইগুলোকে যদি পুনরুদ্ধার করা যেত এবং এগুলো যদি খনন করে দেওয়া যেত তাহলে ব্যাপক মানুষ দ্বিতীয় ফসল করে অর্থনৈতিকভাবে উন্নয়ন করতে পারত।
It is urgent to take immediate initiatives in a coordinated way by government and non-government organizations to ensure security of lives of the coastal people who are not responsible for the climate change. Now is the time to build climate resilient of the distressed coastal area.
So welcome back to our session. We have a in the video there have a very short piece of a video our beloved Selim sir, but for the technical problem we could not hear his voice. So we are deeply sorry for that, and Selim sir supported our activities very much, and he visited Satkira and I met him, and he gave the voice for our he gave the interview for our documentary. So am I audible, right?
Yes.
So I am now requesting Mr. Kaushik Roy to give a very short presentation about on the locality adaptation and our approaches. Or you already hear from the video, but we would like to see again the specific approaches what we are implementing in our coastal area. So thank you very much. We are welcoming the presentation of Mr. Kaushik Roy.
Thank you, and I welcome you all.
Sound very low, Kaushik da.
Thank you, everyone, and please let me share my screen, and I will be with you sharing our short presentation.
Yes,
So,
your presentation is visible, right?
yeah, okay. So leaders always try to implement different programs and initiatives uh, following locally led adaptation. And we will have a glance of what we do and how we accommodate locally led adaptation into our program implementation. So first, what is actually locally led adaptation? Locally led adaptation means involving the local communities, CBOs, business, local governments, and local private entities to the decision making and implementation process in the climate adaptation intervention. That means it emphasizes the value of local knowledge and expertise to address climate risk. It enables local frontline actors to have equitable access to the power and resources. And more importantly, it is not just rather participation or inclusion. Rather, it always emphasizes on building agency. So, what do you understand local adaptation is involving the community by giving access to the power and resources, and it's a holistic approach to implement any adaptation activities. Then actually, locally led adaptation has 8 principles, and like to share. First of all is developing decision making to the lowest appropriate level. So decision making to the lowest appropriate level is the first principle of locally led adaptation. Then building a robust understanding of climate risk and uncertainty. We know the understanding of climate risk and uncertainty is a must. Then addressing structural inequalities. It's basically for the women, youth, children, disabled, and ethnic and marginalized people. In a community, sometimes our development activities hamper or doesn't recognize the needs of the women, youth, or disabled. Then flexible programming and learning. Another four principles, and predictable funding that can be accessed more easily. Actually, it's very important to manage or to provide patient and predictable funding so that the interventions don't get interrupted. Then ensure transparency and accountability. We know how important it is to ensure transparency and accountability while implementing any interventions. Then investing in local capabilities to leave an institutional legacy. Actually, it's very important to invest on developing the capabilities to the local institutions. Then collaborative action and investment. Actually, locally led adaptation, it emphasizes on collaborative action because we can't do anything alone. So these are the 8 principles of locally led adaptation. Then we are talking about resilience building, but why locally led adaptation is needed? If we say a saying that growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of the itself. Once Edward Abbey said it. So only growth isn't. We need a growth which can be beneficial, can be more effective, and can be sustainable. So why resilience building is local adaptations importance? Because it's a holistic approach and a whole society perspective, and it ensures economic growth and enables decision making, and it is also sustainable. And more importantly, locally led adaptation emphasizes on green growth. So the most important aspects of resilience building, what we know, locally led adaptation can ensure all of that. Now, in short, I want to draw a picture that what we are doing in the community. And in short, I can say empowering farmers for resilient agriculture promotion is one of our main interventions. Then capacity building of local people for better water management for agriculture is what we do to enable or to capacitate our farmers so that they can manage their water in a better way and produce more crops. Then introducing low-cost adaptive technologies for sustainable agriculture. We introduces different types of agriculture technologies that are most suited in the saline-prone coastal community. Then promoting low-cost technology for drinking water. It's one of our concern to provide drinking water facilities to the vulnerable communities. Then promoting eco-friendly livelihoods. Empowering women through creating access to decision-making and resources. Then policy advocacy in local and national level. It's one of our influential area where we have been working since quite a lot. We are trying to develop a we are trying to develop a coastal climate justice movement. Then knowledge management for climate resilience. We have developed a knowledge management center, and we are trying to make a knowledge hub so that we can manage the climate change knowledge properly. Then stakeholder engagement for long-term sustainability. Actually, what we do, the most important thing is that we need to ensure sustainability. And for doing that, we are engaging our stakeholders more often than not. Then our approaches. The first process of our modality is community engagement. We always emphasize on community engagement. We form people's organization. We do community risk assessment.
Kaushikda,
And
I would like to draw your attention that you have 2 minutes left.
okay. So I will go a bit quicker. So then capacity building on adaptation and mitigation. Then we introduce low-cost solutions. Then we manage knowledges of climate science and climate adaptation. Then we sustainably manage resources. We emphasize on biodiversity conservation. Then we do collaboration with local governments, CSOs, universities, and we create ownership and empowerment through contribution. Our service participant, they have to contribute to take our services. Then policy advocacy, what I mentioned earlier. These are our 9 approaches what we do, and these are some pictures what we actually do to promote resilient agriculture in the coastal community. And these are our some technologies, some community-based technologies, and some household technologies, so to ensure safe drinking water for the community. These technologies are locally led and community led. In a nutshell, I want to draw our impact, what we have so far been able to do. We have introduced 22 climate smart agriculture technologies. We reached 10,946 families in WASH. We have managed to develop a climate justice movement with the participation of civil society and youth. We have ensured drinking water to 17,781 families. We provided emergency support to 8,150 families. We have provided healthcare services to 15,750 families. We have been able to engage 3,058 youths in our social activism. And we have been able to provide or facilitate livelihoods for at least 4,646 families. So these are our impact in a nutshell. Then actually our initiatives hit a lot of SDGs and national policies. No poverty, zero hunger, health and well-being, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, climate action, peace, justice, and a strong institution. These are the SDGs we hit, and also including the policies, NAPA, NAF, Bangladesh Climate Change Strategy and Action Plan 2019, then Mujib Climate Prosperity Plan. And this is some of our recognitions for the work we have been doing in the coastal community.
Kaushikda, you have 0 minutes.
Okay. So just to finish, we have Zaid Sustainability Prize 2023 in water category, Sanelai Standard Agro Award. Then got Water Showcase Award in 2015. Just to finish, I want to quote a quotation from our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, that is, leave no one behind. We have to move forward together. So if we want to achieve resilience and sustainable development, we need to move forward together. So that's all from my side, and hope you have enjoyed it. So thank you again.
Thank you very much, Kaushikda, for your very insightful and interesting presentation, what you are doing, and you already focused, say, 8 principles of locally led adaptation. It is very good, and I think our participant, our distinguished guest, and our all of our attendees, they can learn a lot from your presentation, and they know about our working strategies. Now we have two amazing participants from community. They will tell their amazing work, what they are doing in their community and in their family. So first of all, I would like to request Shumita Rani Mondol. She is a farmer from Shamnagar. I'd like to request her to give her insights or give her space in our session. So আমি দীপ্তি দিদিকে অথবা আমাদের সহকর্মীকে একটু বলছি যে সুমিতা রানী মণ্ডলকে এখন আপনারা একটু কথা বলার সুযোগ করে দিন। এমডি বিলাল হোসেন, যে এখান দিয়ে আপনি লিংক করেছেন এটা মিউট আছে, এটা আনমিউট করে নেন।
Okay, Dada, thank you. Now, talking the Sumitra Mondol.
সুমিত্রা দি, আপনি বাংলায় বলবেন, কোনো সমস্যা নেই, বলুন।
মিটিং এ উপস্থিত সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা। আমার নাম সুমিত্রা মণ্ডল। এখানে কথা বলার সুযোগ করে দেওয়ার জন্য ধন্যবাদ। জলবায়ু পরিবর্তনের কারণে আমাদের এলাকায় ঘন ঘন প্রাকৃতিক দুর্যোগ দেখা দেয়। আমাদের ঘরগুলো ভালো না বা আশেপাশে কোনো আশ্রয় কেন্দ্র না থাকায় আমরা খুব ঝুঁকিতে থাকি। বাড়ির পুরুষ সদস্যরা অন্য জায়গায় যেতে পারে, কিন্তু নারীরা সন্তান বা বৃদ্ধদের নিয়ে খুব চিন্তায় থাকে। আমাদের এলাকায় আগের চাইতে লবণাক্ততা বেড়ে যাওয়ায় আগের মতো আর কৃষি ফসল ভালো হয় না, তাতে করে আয়ের উৎস কমে যাচ্ছে। আমরা নারীরা সবার পরে খাই, আবার কম খাই, এতে করে আমাদের পুষ্টিহীনতা খুব বেশি। লবণ পানির কারণে অসময়ে বিশেষ করে নারীদের অসময়ে গর্ভপাত হচ্ছে। এই লবণ পানির কারণে চর্মরোগ ও জরায়ু সমস্যা, জরায়ু রোগ সংক্রান্ত বৃদ্ধি পাচ্ছে। অনেকে এই জরায়ু কেটে বাদ দিতে বাধ্য হচ্ছে। জলবায়ু পরিবর্তনের ফলে স্থানীয়ভাবে বিভিন্ন দল গঠন করছি, সেখানে বিভিন্ন এনজিও বা লিডার্সে আমরা প্রশিক্ষণ দিচ্ছে যে এই লবণ এলাকায় লবণ পানিতে লবণ সহনশীল ধান ও সবজি চাষ আমরা কিভাবে করব, বাড়ির আঙিনায় আমরা কিভাবে কৃষি সবজি লাগাবো, বা আমাদের যে ঘর বাড়িগুলো ভালো না সেগুলো কিভাবে আমরা মজবুত করব বা টেকসই করার চেষ্টা করব। সমন্বিত কৃষি, আমি সমন্বিত কৃষি খামার করছি, একটা পুকুর তৈরি করেছি, সেখানে বর্ষার জল ধরে রাখি মিনি পুকুরে, আর 12 মাস আমরা সেই পুকুরের মিষ্টি জল দিয়ে সবজি চাষ করি। আমি বাড়িতে নিজের উদ্যোগে জৈব সার তৈরি করি, সেই জৈব সার আমি কৃষিতে ব্যবহার করি, তাতে আমাদের পুষ্টির গুণ বাড়ে। আমাদের এলাকায় খাবার জলের সমস্যা, খাবার জলের সমস্যার কারণে বিভিন্ন এনজিও বা লিডার্স আমাদেরকে মিনি পুকুর বা পিএসএফ স্থাপন করে খাবার জলের সমস্যা সমাধান করে দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করছে। আমাদের এই যে ক্লিনিক আছে, কমিউনিটি ক্লিনিকে আমরা নিয়মিত যোগাযোগ রাখি। সে অসুখ হলে আমরা সেখানে যাই বা ওষুধ এনে খাই। সার্বিকভাবে আমাদেরকে এই সার্বিকভাবে সহযোগিতা করার জন্য লিডার্সকে ধন্যবাদ।
সো সুমিতা দিদি, আপনি খুবই ভালো বলেছেন। আমরা শুনলাম যে আপনি কিভাবে আপনার জীবনযাপন করছেন এখানে। So thank you very much, Sumita Di. Sumita Di already focused that how they are suffering for the different climatic shocks and how they are coping with the situations. So now we are requesting a community leader, Mr. Ranjan Raptan. He is working in our community last 10 years with our project. So they have some amazing work. And they develop a lot of things. So we would like to get a very thoughtful insight from রঞ্জন রপ্তানদা। সো রঞ্জন দাদা, আপনি আপনার কথাটা বাংলায় বলবেন, আপনি শুরু করুন।
সম্মানিত উপস্থিতি, সবাইকে আমার আন্তরিক শুভেচ্ছা ও অভিনন্দন। আমাকে এখানে কথা বলার সুযোগ করে দেওয়ার জন্য আপনাদের অশেষ ধন্যবাদ। আমার নাম রঞ্জন কুমার রপ্তান, দক্ষিণ পশ্চিম উপকূলীয় অঞ্চল সাতক্ষীরা জেলা শ্যামনগর থানায় 7 নম্বর মুন্সিগঞ্জ ইউনিয়নের সুন্দরবনের কোলগেশা একটা প্রত্যন্ত অঞ্চলে আমার বাস। এই অঞ্চলটি প্রাকৃতিকভাবে এমনই বিপর্যস্ত যে প্রাকৃতিক কারণে একটা দুর্যোগ প্রবণ এবং ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ অঞ্চল। এই অঞ্চলে এমন ভাবে আমরা টিকে আছি সেটা কল্পনা করা যায় না। এই অঞ্চলটিতে এতই ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ যে আইলা, সিডর, আমপান, বুলবুলের মতো এরকম যদি প্রাকৃতিক বিপর্যয় বারবার চলতে থাকে তবে অদূর ভবিষ্যতে আমাদের এখানে টিকে থাকা হয়তো আর সম্ভব হবে না। এই আইলা, সিডর, বুলবুল, আমপানের মতো জলোচ্ছ্বাসের কারণে বারবার নদী ভাঙন এবং জলোচ্ছ্বাসের কারণে এলাকাটা একেবারেই লবণাক্ততা এবং মাটিতে এমন লবণাক্ততা পরিমাণে বৃদ্ধি পেয়েছে যে সেখানে আগের মতো আর এখন আর ফসল উৎপাদন করা সম্ভব হচ্ছে না, যার কারণে খাদ্য সংকটও দেখা দিয়েছে। সাথে সাথে পুষ্টিহীনতার অভাব এবং কর্মসংস্থানের অভাবও হচ্ছে, যে কারণে কাজের উদ্দেশ্যে, কর্মসংস্থানের উদ্দেশ্যে আমাদের অনেক সময় বাইরে স্থানান্তরিত হতে হচ্ছে। সাথে সাথে মিষ্টি সুপেয় পানির সংকট প্রকট আকার ধারণ করেছে। এছাড়া স্থানীয়ভাবে এলাকায় আরো বহুত সমস্যা আছে। এই সমস্যাগুলো নিরসনের জন্য, সমাধানের জন্য আমরা স্থানীয় এলাকার মানুষ সবাই মিলে একটা মানে ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ মানচিত্র অঙ্কন করেছি এবং এই মানচিত্রটা মাঝে মাঝে এলাকায় আমরা টানিয়েও রাখছি এবং এলাকার এই মানচিত্র অনুযায়ী কোথায় কোথায় ঝুঁকি আছে সেই ঝুঁকিগুলো চিহ্নিত করার জন্য আমরা একটা ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ দলও গঠন করেছি। সেই দল নিয়ে এবং এলাকার মানুষ নিয়ে আমরা সাধারণত স্থানীয় সরকার অথবা বেসরকারি কোনো সংস্থা, বিশেষ করে লিডার্সের সহযোগিতা এবং তাদের ধারে আমরা গিয়েছি, আমাদের কথাগুলো বলেছি এবং তাদের সহযোগিতায় আমরা কাজগুলো করার চেষ্টাও করছি। এছাড়া আমাদের যে সমস্যাগুলো আছে, যেহেতু বিশেষ করে লবণাক্ততার সমস্যা, জলাবদ্ধতার সমস্যা, মানে আমাদের এলাকায় যে খালগুলো আছে প্রায় মজে গেছে, সেখানে পানি নিষ্কাশনেরও ব্যবস্থাও নাই। এছাড়া বৃদ্ধ, নারী এবং মহিলাদের জন্য যে স্বাস্থ্য সেবার ব্যবস্থা সেটাও খুবই নাজুক অবস্থা। এই লক্ষ্যে আমরা আমাদের চিহ্নিত যে ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ স্থানগুলো আছে সেই স্থানগুলোই আমরা প্রায় আলোচনায় বসে মিটিংও করি। এদের নিয়ে এই কাজগুলো বাস্তবায়ন করার জন্য বিভিন্ন সংস্থার কাছে আমরা তুলে ধরছি। এমনকি লিডার্সের সহযোগিতায় আমরা, যেমন অতিবৃষ্টি অনাবৃষ্টির কারণে যে আমাদের এখানে ফসলগুলো ভালো হচ্ছে না, সেই অতিবৃষ্টিজনিত কারণে যে জলাবদ্ধতা সৃষ্টি হচ্ছে, সেই জলাবদ্ধতার নিরসনের জন্য আমরা খাল খননের ব্যবস্থাও করেছি। তারপরে যে অনাবৃষ্টিজনিত কারণে যে খরার সম্মুখীন হতে হচ্ছে, সেই খরা মোকাবেলা করার জন্য ছোট ছোট মিনি পুকুরের ব্যবস্থাও করার চেষ্টা করছি এবং অনেক মিনি পুকুরও করেছি। এছাড়া আমাদের যে বিশেষ করে সুপেয় পানির যে সংকট আছে, সেই সুপেয় পানির জন্য বড় বড় পুকুর খনন করেছি, পুকুরে পিএসএফ এর ব্যবস্থাও করেছি। তাছাড়া বায়োসয়েন্ট ফিল্টার প্রত্যেকটা বাড়িতে আমরা স্থাপন করার প্রস্তুতি নিয়েছি এবং স্থাপনও করেছি। সেই ফিল্টারে পানি পান করে আমরা সাধারণত এখন এই পর্যন্ত টিকেই আছি। এছাড়া স্বাস্থ্য সেবার জন্য প্রতি মাসে একবার স্বাস্থ্য ক্যাম্প এর ব্যবস্থা করেছি। বিশেষ করে মহিলাদের জন্য গাইনি চিকিৎসা ক্যাম্পের ব্যবস্থাও করা হয়েছে, যেটা বাধ্যতামূলক প্রতি মাসে বিনামূল্যে সেটা করা হচ্ছে। সেখানে আমাদের স্থানীয় মহিলারা যে সেই স্বাস্থ্য সেবাও নিতে পারছে। এছাড়া উন্নত মানে প্রযুক্তিতে আমরা যে লবণ সহনশীল জাতের ধান কিভাবে লাগানো যায়, কিভাবে সবজিও চাষ করা যায় সমন্বিতভাবে, সেগুলো করার চেষ্টাও করছি। ছোট ছোট পুকুরের পাশে আমরা যে ফাঁকা জায়গাগুলো আছে সেখানে বড় মৌসুমে ধান চাষ করছি, পাশে রাস্তায় আমরা সবজি চাষও করছি। এগুলো বাস্তবায়ন করার জন্য প্রতি 6 মাস পর পর আমরা বিশেষ করে যে ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ যে দল গঠন করা হয়েছে, সেই দল সমন্বয়ে এবং উদ্যোগে বেসরকারি সংস্থা অথবা স্থানীয় সরকারের সহযোগিতায় আমরা সেখানে তাদের নিয়েও মিটিং করছি এবং পরবর্তীতে পরিকল্পনাও গুলো আমরা তৈরি করছি যে কিভাবে এই কাজগুলো বাস্তবায়ন করা যায়। এবং পরবর্তী 6 মাসে আবার যে নতুন পরিকল্পনাগুলো হাতে নিচ্ছে, সেগুলো আমরা চলমান রাখছি যে কিভাবে পরিকল্পনাগুলো বাস্তবায়ন করা যায়। হ্যাঁ, এমনকি সদাশয় সরকারের কাছে আমরা বিনীতভাবে আমাদের আবেদনগুলো জানাচ্ছি লিডার্সের সহযোগিতায়, এমনকি মানববন্ধন, পথসভা, মিটিং, মিছিল এবং লেটার ক্যাম্পেইন পর্যন্ত করছি। এছাড়া আমরা বেসরকারি সংস্থা, অন্যান্য বেসরকারি সংস্থা এবং বিশেষ করে লিডার্সের সহযোগিতায় আমরা তাদের প্রশিক্ষণ এবং পরামর্শ মোতাবেক অভিযোজিত কৌশল অবলম্বন করে একটা টেকসই ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ ঝুঁকি হ্রাস করার যে মানে পদ্ধতি, সে পদ্ধতিগুলো করার চেষ্টাও করছি এবং ঝুঁকিটা কমানোর জন্য চেষ্টাও চালিয়ে যাচ্ছি। দক্ষিণ পশ্চিম উপকূলীয় অঞ্চলে যে সংকট আছে, সে সংকটগুলো আমরা প্রতিনিয়ত আমাদের স্থানীয় সরকারের কাছে আমাদের মনের কথাগুলো তাদের সঙ্গে ভাগাভাগি করছি এবং বলছি। সাথে সাথে বেসরকারি সংস্থাগুলোর কাছেও আমরা যাই এবং তাদের নিয়ে আমাদের আলাপ আলোচনা হয়। সেই মোতাবেক যেমন বিশেষ করে আমাদের যে লবণ সহনশীল জাতের যে ধানটা পাওয়া যায় না, আমরা বেসরকারি সংস্থা যেমন এই লিডার্সের সহযোগিতায় সেই ধানগুলো আমরা ধান বীজগুলো পাচ্ছি যথারীতি, সবজি বীজগুলো পাচ্ছি। এছাড়া ছোট ছোট মিনি পুকুর তাদের সহযোগিতায় আমরা করতে পারছি, খালগুলো খনন করে নিয়েছি। এরকম বহু কাজ তাদের সহযোগিতায় বিশেষ করে যে ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ যে গ্রুপ আছে, গ্রুপের উদ্যোগে আমরা সেগুলো চলমান রাখছি। আর তাছাড়া এমনি যে অতিবৃষ্টি অনাবৃষ্টির কারণে যে সমস্যাগুলো হচ্ছে, সেই সমস্যা জনিত কারণে আমরা বছরে প্রায় 12 মাসেই একটা না একটা চাষের মধ্যে আমরা আছি, ধান হোক সবজি হোক। বিশেষ করে আমন মৌসুমে আমরা লবণ সহনশীল জাতের ধান চাষ করছি এবং সবাইকে উদ্বুদ্ধ করছি। সাথে সাথে সমন্বিত চাষ পদ্ধতি আমরা অবলম্বন করছি। রাসায়নিক বিশেষ করে রাসায়নিক সারের বর্জন করে আমরা জৈব সারের মাত্রা বাড়াইছি এবং জমিতে যাতে উর্বরতা বৃদ্ধি করা যায়, জমির মানটা ঠিকঠাক রাখা যায়, সেজন্য আমরা জৈব সারের প্রতি বেশি আকৃষ্ট হয়েছি। সবাইকে উদ্বুদ্ধ করছি বাড়িতে জৈব সারও তৈরি করায় আমরা সেগুলো ব্যবহারও করছি এবং সমন্বিতভাবে ধান মাছ সবজিও ব্যবহার করছে এবং সার্বক্ষণিক তাদের পরামর্শ আমরা মাফিক আমরা কাজ করছি এবং আমরা যাতে সামনে অদূর ভবিষ্যতে আরো টিকে থাকতে পারি, সেই ধরনের পরিকল্পনা মাফিক আমরা এখন চলছি। যাই হোক, মোটামুটি আমরা বর্তমান যে অবস্থায় আছি এখন এখনই বর্তমান টিকে থাকার মতো, কিন্তু অদূর ভবিষ্যতে যে কি হবে, কিভাবে আমরা টিকে থাকবো, এটা বলার তো আমাদের অপেক্ষা রাখে না। তা যাই হোক, আমাকে আমাদেরকে এই সমস্ত সহযোগিতা করার জন্য আমি লিডার্সকে অশেষ ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। সাথে সাথে আমাদের দক্ষিণ পশ্চিম উপকূলীয় অঞ্চলে যে দুঃখ দুর্দশাগ্রস্ত মানুষের এই যে কথাগুলো শোনার জন্য আমি আপনাদেরকে অশেষ ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। এই বলে আমি আমার কথা শেষ করছি। সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ।
অনেক ধন্যবাদ দাদা রঞ্জন দা, আপনি অনেক সুন্দর কথা বলেছেন। আমাদের তো মনে হচ্ছিল যে আমরা আরো কিছু কথা আপনার শুনি, কিন্তু আনফর্চুনেট মানে দুর্ভাগ্যক্রমে আমরা একটু সময় পিছিয়ে আছি। তো যে কারণে আমরা আহ, আরো অনেক সময় শুনতে পারলে আমাদের ভালো লাগতো। আপনি যদি আম, পরবর্তীতে আমাদের কোনো সময় সুযোগ হয়, আমরা ডেফিনেটলি আপনার কথা শুনবো। সো dear friends, we would like to give a big hand to Shumita Didi and Ranjan Dada for their very important insight in our meeting. So we are running. Our time is running so fast, so we don't have so much time. We would like to like to hear now from a researcher perspectives, and we have a honorable panelist, our Mahmouda Appa. She is working with the Sajda Foundation long time. She is working in the research sectors. So we already have some insight from our community. So I would like to request Mahmouda Mitiapa to give your valuable thoughts on the local area adaptation and what is the problem and opportunity in the Sundarban Delta. So welcoming Mahmouda Appa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohandas. First, I would like to apologize because like there might be some background noise. My house is like very close to airport, so whenever plane is crossing the house, there might be some background noise. Sorry for that. So already we got very good like idea about locally led adaptations, all the principles and all. But to start my talk, I first would like to share about like kind of idea about the Sundarbans. So the Sundarbans Delta, the world's largest mangrove forest, we all know about it, spans over like 10,000 square kilometers, within like 60% situated in Bangladesh part of Sundarbans. So if I talk about like Bangladesh parts of Sundarbans, in that case, like we all know, it's a very harbors diverse flora and fauna, and sustains livelihoods for over like 3.5 million people. However, it faces significant challenges due to like anthropogenic activities and climate change, including like raising sea levels, then cyclones, salinity intrusions, and storm surge. And the scenario is like pretty much same in Indian part of Sundarbans as well. So consequently, traditional agricultural practices are threatened and mangroves declines is predicted. And we already started showing that result, like our Sundarbans area is like kind of declining, like reducing day by day, and posing significant environmental and socio-economic risk. So here, like we all can see, there is an important for adaptation to climate change arena. And like if we talk about like Sundarbans Delta, to mitigate the adverse impact on both the environment and the local communities, we really need adaptation initiatives here. So it involves like implementing strategies to protect ecosystem, enhance resilience, and ensure like sustainable livelihood initiatives in the communities. However, like adaptation to the impact of climate change should consider a human dimension in planning and decision making. A comprehensive like set specific bottom-up approaches is really crucial here. So speaking of like locally led adaptation, Dr. Hawk shared one thing that I feel like I really need to share here, which is like we are the outsider, like we researcher or whatever, like development entities are working outside Sundarbans areas. We are the outsiders, and they are the people who are facing the impact of the climate change. So we really need to invite them for the decision-making process, because since the locals are facing the impact of climate change from the front line and are coping with it, we have to, like, we have a lot to learn and to know from them. So besides, like, many papers have already pointed out that existing fault lines to inequality and social inclusion, such as like gender discrimination, ethnicity, and socioeconomic deprivations must be addressed. In terms of centralized planning process, it's actually dominated by individuals or particular groups, provided like little space or for like excluded communities to interact. And unfortunately, Bangladesh earliest all the like climate change planning followed a centralized planning process and lacked participatory decision-making mechanism. So to overcome all these like problems, it is important to introduce locally led adaptation here. And locally led adaptations empowers the local communities to develop and implement adaptation solutions that are tailored to their specific needs and context. It involves like devolving decision-making power, addressing structures inequality, providing accessibility, like accessible funding, and building local capacities. Additionally, like facilitating women's socio-economic empowerment through climate resilient, locally adaptation, income generative activities is really like vital within the context of locally led adaptation. And these practices underscores like Sundarbans deltas exposed, like high exposed to climate change impacts, highlighting the urgent need for community-driven solutions. It's imperative for like locally led innovations are supported by government services, delivery agencies to ensure the sustainable and effective of adaptation efforts. So in the context of like Sundarbans Delta, locally led adaptation is particularly relevant due to the active and innovative role of local communities in developing adaptation solutions. So by shifting power to local stakeholders and promoting principles such as like equality, transparency, and collaborations, locally led adaptation can catalyze effective and sustainable adaptation efforts in the region. And if I talk about like the advantage of working with locally led adaptation within the like Sundarbans Delta, then the impacts of climate change is very high here in Sundarbans Delta. And already many NGOs and development entities have started working here for quite some time now. And for this, the local peoples are now aware about the impact of climate change and the coping mechanism. So like during a decision-making process, they especially like what we can see in the local level, always the male members are very dominated for like sharing their thoughts and planning or decisions. But in the Sundarbans regions, the females, they are also equally participating in the decision-making power. So, you know, they are like more vocals because due to like several effects of cyclones and disasters, they like male members had to go outside to secure their livelihood, and female member had to take leadership to protect their household. So now the female members are also similar way of vocal to, and they can share their problems and needs clearly as they have like robust understandings about climate change initiatives. And women are now like I will not say only women, like youth peoples, they are also actively working proactively in the community, and they are participating in different type of like trainings and courtyard meetings, and they actually are coming up with new ideas like what can be the suitable solutions for their areas. And moreover, like the local organizations are very, I will say, active and keen to work for the local communities. So it creates an easy access for outsider like us to work within the communities and to collaborate with the local institutions. So I have seen like some NGOs in both side of Sundarbans. They're helping the researchers or other development entities to conduct like to conduct research or to access in the communities in various way. Like they are providing accommodation supports, they are creating the access to the communities so that they can do their work very comfortably and very nice way without like facing any issues for getting that acceptance within the Sundarbans. So there is like a lot of benefits here. As there is time shortage, I will go for the challenges, because in terms of benefits, we can hear from very like I will say speakers or practitioners. They already mentioned that, like, like the local peoples, they are very keen, the local governments are interested, the local NGOs, they are also very enthusiastic to work on that. So there is a lot of advantage working there, and it's a very good place to work because we can see all sorts of like impact is happening there, and practices is also going on. But in terms of challenges, what I can share from my experience is like the local government's role and power is very dynamic in both sides of Sundarbans. Like since the government facilities are not same in the Sundarbans on both sides, some difference that I mentioned can be seen there. For an example, it is not possible to do from Bangladesh in the same way that the Indian Gram Panchayat has decision-making power, can apply it. Like after a disaster, like cyclones, if their embankment become destroyed, then the Gram Panchayat has that like power to take decisions how to protect that area very quickly. But in terms of our side, like Bangladesh side of Sundarbans, we need to follow several procedures, because our center government is very powerful rather than the like our local government can't take that much decision-making role here. So this is another challenges, I will say. And another in is like till now ensuring equity is a very big problems or very big challenges due to some political issues, like Munda communities, tiger widows. We all know they are the more vulnerable communities, but still now they're struggling to secure their basic needs, and which is making them more vulnerable, but they are not like getting that exposure to raise their voice within the communities. And another issue is transparency, ensuring transparency, securing fundings, and like we always need to follow donors' instructions. So all these issues are creating challenges for following locally led adaptations. I think I should stop here because we have like a few more speakers in line, but I can come again if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mahmoud, for your valuable insights. It's very interesting. You highlighted the challenges and also the scopes to work in the coastal area like the Sundarban Delta. We are very much helpful. We get a lot of information from you, and I think a lot of development practitioners is here, so they can take valuable points from your space, and I think it will help us to improve our program in the coastal area. Thank you again for your time in the weekend. So I would like to request Mr. Aushan Lohaid to give your valuable space in our for our audience, and we are welcoming Mr. Aushan Lohaid. He's working last 15 years with the Manushanjana Foundation, and Manushanjana Foundation is implementing a big project named Kriya, and Kriya project is working in the different ecosystem area, the different climate hotspot area like the Howrah area, like the northern part, like the drought area, like the coastal area. So he is involved with that project. So we'll get some valuable other insight from him. So we are now welcoming Mr. Aushan Wahid.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
We can
Thank
hear
you, Mohanda, for inviting me this important event. Actually, I would like to spotlight on the local context in terms of locally led adaptation principles, implementation of locally led adaptation principles. We all know that our national adaptation plan already uh, emphasized on locally led, though it is not actually uh, uh, actually defined from the what which local level we start the locally led adaptation. But in my as far I can understand that we have the lowest tier of the local level local government is union parishad or the municipality at the urban area. So we have to start from that. Actually, if we see the if we see the extent of work at the locally led adaptation, we find two types of scenario, because where NGOs are working, they are doing their best with their knowledge to promote locally led adaptation. Like we are also working with the leaders in Shamnagar to promote locally led adaptation and right-based approach in those areas. But if we see where NGOs are not working, the scenario is different. Locally led adaptation actually emphasized on governance principles like participation, inclusion, equality, transparency, and accountability. They emphasize it is inbuilt in the principle. But if we look at the ground level, what is the capacity of local level institution like union parishad or the municipality to implement this locally led adaptation? They are still lacking in capacity. So capacity development of both NGOs and the local level institution on locally led adaptation is important, I think. If we see the locally led adaptation is talking about the participation. So what is the scenario of participation? If we see the local level where we are working, we see that they are incorporating women, but women and other gender dimensions. But are they effectively participating in the decision making process? Do they have the scope? Do they have the knowledge? So in that case, we have to look on that also. The capacity of community who are incorporated in the decision making process, and the capacity of local government, how they can effectively take their opinion in their decision making process. So this is important. In terms of inclusion, I would say that we have we are talking about the inclusion. We are talking about the inclusion of women, but our women homogeneous group? There are different types of women. There are women with disability. There are single-headed women. There are women. You are talking about the previous speaker is talking about the tiger widow. So the need is separate from each other. So if we fail to actually incorporate them in decision making, we can't address there is differentiated demand, and we can go for the sustainable development. Let's think about the transparency and accountability of local level organizations or the local local government. Are they equipped with the capacity? Are they accountable towards the people's demand? Are they transparent enough? Because we have seen that the people from remote vulnerable areas are not getting the information properly. So they don't know about their rights. They don't know where to go for what service. So that is the problem in terms of transparency. And local service providers are providing different types of services. Are they accountable to to discuss about the service, to who are getting the service, who are not getting the service, what is the service criteria for if anyone want to get the service, so how she or he can understand then I am eligible for the service. So these information are not there, and they are not informing people that who are getting the service and what service they are getting. So this is also a part of the locally adaptation principle. I am talking about the capacity support. We have seen that the most of the capacity building in terms of agriculture and other livelihoods, it is centralized within the Upuzila level. But a person from distant place, like you are talking about, you are working in Gabura. So how women or disabled women can get the service from the Gabura in terms of capacity building from the service providing organization? Is there any mechanism? I think there is a lack. So we have to think about those areas, because I think the service needs to be decentralized. It is not it should not be confined within the Upazila level or district level. It should be the service should the capacity building support should go to the union level and even ward level, so that people have easy access to that capacity building support. On the other hand, we have to actually consider the social issues as well as the climate change issues, because we know that in remote vulnerability, the social issues are triggering the climate change issues. You know that women from different intersections, they don't have the ability to take the decision, and they are not actually allowable for take the decision. So these are the social issues. So we have to work on the ground for for changing the mindset, because if we don't work at the local level for changing the mindset, they will not effectively get into the services by the local service providers. So therefore, we need a holistic approach if we want to address the climate change issues, climate change related vulnerabilities at the local level. So this is actually from my side. Thank you very much for again for inviting me in this important session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Asan bhai. We love to hear from you, because we get a lot of information from Mahmudapar and from you, from the different perspectives. And you well said about the capacity building and inclusion, women inclusion, holistic approach. It's rightly mentioned in our and it is lined with our the session title. Now I think we would like request to ask anybody, if you have any question, you can ask us, because we are running behind our time. So after the question, we'll be happy to answer of all of your questions. Do anybody here who are checking chat box? If they have any question, please tell us.
Yes, sir. I'm checking the chat box. There are no questions as of now.
Oh, really? Means it is very clear, and I think our community participants Sumita Rani Mondol and Ranjan Raptan and our Mahmud Appa and Azhanul Wahid Bhai well said and perfectly described the different things of local area adaptation and the coastal area. So I think most of our participants who are attending here are very clear, right? So it's great that we don't have any kind of question because we clearly describe everything.
Sir, we just got a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, Anton is asking, how can communicate against the LLA finance?
Do anybody like to answer that question?
I can go first and then
Yes,
maybe
please.
someone else can add. So financing is also a like very like challenging issues to ensure in the community, because like whenever we think about fund or grant, it's all designed in a like top-down approach, but following locally led adaptation initiative, so the finance for locally led adaptation, they're like securing finance or securing like grant, still now a lot of like organizations is struggling to find a proper way, but I feel here the local organization can play a vital role. So from Sajida Foundation, we are trying to address all the principles of locally led adaptation, and we confidently and like kind of we can showcase our work nicely aligning with the 8 principles of locally led adaptation, where funding or financing is a major component. So how we are like ensuring that finance, we are collaborating with the local NGOs or institutions and disseminating that funds through them. So this is how maybe can be the one options to secure LLA finance. If anyone have like any other thoughts, they can add here. Or
Yeah,
maybe
thank you.
Munta, you can add actually here. You are the perfect person to answer for this question.
You're asking me?
Yeah, why not?
So,
You are the
thank you
perfect
very much,
person to answer this
Mahmoud.
one.
You mentioned perfectly. I'd like to contribute in this questions that the community people who are living in this area, they always contributing for their betterment, for their adaptation and resilient initiative. When we give our presentation, Mr. Kaushik mentioned that community contribution and all the services what are providing by leaders is not giving any services without any fish, any contribution. We are not giving any free services. Like we are supporting the community to excavate the canal for water preservation. But the community people, they need to contribute at least 30% or 20%. Otherwise, we will not go for them. So we are encouraging people to manage local fund. It may be in kind or it may be in cash, but they have to contribute in some way if they want to develop themselves. And that we already developed some disaster mitigation plan in our working area, but only 50% taka. They're making some plans for reactivity, what can reduce their disaster vulnerability or climate change vulnerability. And leaders is giving them only 50% taka, and rest of the 50% taka, 50% money, they are getting from Union Parishad, they are getting from the businessmen, and they are getting from the rich people who are living in that villages. So always we are increasing the community people to contribute themselves for their betterment. Thank you, Appa. If anyone want to add, you can add anything.
Thank you. Actually, I want to say that you are already working with community, and you are actually creating community level fund in your working area. So that is another scope of that is another scope from where people can get access to the fund. People can raise their fund, people can get access to the fund, people can manage their fund. And if we can actually register them in the with the cooperatives, then those community level organizations have the will get the scope to get fund after the completion of the project. That is another way to actually promote local level funding to the local people. Thank you.
Thank you, Asan Bhai, for your important compliments. Do they have any question here?
Yes, sir. There's another question. It states, is there any opportunity to work in Chittagong hill tracts for ensuring drinking water, especially in remote areas?
Thank you very much for your questions.
May I
who
answer
are
this
asking this,
question?
So are you requesting to repeat the question again?
Actually, someone is asking about how, what is the opportunity in Chittagong hill tracts to ensure drinking water, especially in remote areas. Actually, it is important to conserve the forest in Chittagong hill tracts. Otherwise, the sources of water will be in danger, with the climate change. So first of all, we have to think about deforestation in Chittagong hill tracts, and we have to take initiative to conserve their forest. We are working in Chittagong hill tracts, and we are working to actually conserve the village common forest. It is actually in Bangla it is said Parabon. We are actually building capacity of the community people, so how they can manage their forest adjacent to their villages. So and also important to do advocacy with the government, because we have seen a lot of activities happening in Chittagong hill tracts. They are collecting. They are collecting stones from the what should I say, streams. That is actually damaging the structure of the stream. So that is also another thing. And we also trying to introduce them with the rainwater harvesting system, GFS, gravity force system. This is also in our area. But main thing is that you have to conserve the forest. You have to take initiative to conserve the forest. Otherwise, no initiative will properly sustain in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanbhai, for your valuable answer. I would like to request Mahmoud Mitiapa to give you
Yeah, actually,
answering this question if you have.
my one is slightly similar to Asanul Bhai. So recently I had a meeting with an environmental scientist from India. His name is Josh, and we were like discussing about the same issues, like how we can ensure groundwater availability in the Chittagong hill tracts, because all the like waterfalls are dying, and like kind of their river is becoming shrink day by day, and deforestation definitely is one of the main reason of it. But for securing their livelihood, they need to think about in a diplomatic way, so they are not be able to continue forestation's sorts of activities. So what can be the potential initiative there? So rainwater harvesting definitely can be a good one, but the system that we were like talking about, that there is a lot of successful stories about groundwater recharge process. If we can see in Sri Lanka, in Nepal, India, especially in Kerala and in that area, they have like successful stories about recharging groundwater, utilizing rainwater. So if we can like introduce that idea in Bangladesh, then it might be a really great initiative for us. But we don't have any expertise right now in Bangladesh to work on that. I shouldn't say like we don't have expertise. Definitely we have expertise, but I personally don't know anyone specifically have interest and expertise working particular these issues. So I am communicating with Josh, and we are planning to conduct a research on Chittagong hill tracts first to do the feasibility study, and then maybe we will go for the implementation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahmood, for your interesting space. And I think the question who asked this question, I heard that I am watching that a progressive, maybe someone from a organization progressive. So, Mahmood and Hassan Bhai, you are working with a big organization, so you have the scope to work in Chittagong Hill Trust. But we are very much, all of the participants and all of the development practitioners, we are very much concerned about the water scarcity in different parts, including the Chittagong Hill Tracts. So I think already Ausan Bhai and Mahmood Apar told that they will go for a visibility study, then they will go for intervention. I think their intervention will help you. And for the and Mr. Ausan or Hidbhai already communicate something that watershed management is important for water availability in Chittagong. It is very he's very well said, and it is important for managing our available resources in the hill tracts in the mountain. So thank you very much. If there are no any questions, so we'd like to go for conclusion of the session. Did there have any question? I am
No,
not.
sir. There are no questions as of now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for all of your support who are technically helping us to organize this session from leaders, and also a big our kind heart goes to the ICCCAD person who are personnels who
Hello.
are helping us
Yeah,
to
Mohanda,
organize this.
can everyone
Yes,
switch on their camera for a group photo? The session?
yes. So আমি আপনাদের সকলকে অনুরোধ করছি একটা সকলের ক্যামেরা অনুরোধ অন করার জন্য, যাতে আমরা একটা ছবি নিতে পারি। উই আর রিকোয়েস্টিং অল অফ ইউ টু অন অফ ইউর ক্যামেরা সো দ্যাট উই ক্যান টেক এ পিকচার। Tamalika Mullik and some other people not opening their camera.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mohanda.
Thank you very much. I think this is the time to conclusion our sessions. It is the weekend, and it is also the prayer day today. So I'd like to conclude the session right now. So thank you very much, Mahazibin Appa, for your help to organize this session, and also all of the people who are working for the Gobeshona, who are working to make fruitful the Gobeshona conference. It's a really helpful for us, the development practitioners and the researchers. They're getting a lot of information from the Gobeshona conference. So our session, we try to focus the coastal crisis and try to focus how people are adapting with the crisis. Like our Sumitrani is a different story, and our Ranjan Raptan is saying different story. The two stories already communicated with you, and you understand that what kind of activities they are doing. Though they have a lot of problem, but people are very much optimistic, and they are doing something what they can for their betterment, because they don't have any way to go anywhere for better life. So we have to stay here. We have to make our community resilient so that we can live here for a long time for our, and we have to work for our future generation. So I would like to thank you, Mr. Kaushik Rai, for your hard work and give a presentation. I'd like to thank you, Mahmood Appa, for your valuable insights, and also the Ausanul Wahid Bhai, who gave a different story, and we get a lot of information from him. And also, I'd like to thanks to Sumita Rani Mondol, who came from the village and who speak in the conference and make us know their life and livelihood. And I'd like to thank Mr. Ranjan Raptan, who is community leader, came here to tell their story in these sessions. So if there have no any technical work left, so we would like to finish our conference. So do anyone want to do anything like we need to record any or anything, or we need to take any screenshot for any of our questions? So if we complete all the things, so then we will finish that meeting here. Major Midappa, are you hearing us? So I think